So the Overwatch 2 Juno playtest ended a few days ago, and I just wanted to share my thoughts on it. I would have recorded this sooner, but for the past few days, my neighbours have been. And it has been like 3 days since the Juno playtest, but you know, it is what it is. If you like the drawing that's going to be happening in the background, check me out on my many socials. They're all pretty much Mesozoic comics, and I'm on all of these sites. Now, Juno is the newest Overwatch hero, being added in Season 12. She is another support character. You know, we've not had enough of those recently. Now, a little note I want to add here, support does not mean heal bot. Controversial opinion, I know, but supports are actually allowed to do damage. And most of the time, it is quite useful to have your support fight back instead of being a little ult farm for the enemy Hanzo. Looking at you, Mercy. But this is why I absolutely love the fact that pretty much half of her kit does damage. Talking about her kit, the first thing to talk about would be her weapon, which is called the Medi Blaster. This is a burst hit scan weapon that can it can heal allies at the same time as damaging enemies. You know, if you change who you're shooting at, fire at an enemy, does damage. Fire at an ally, heals them. Pretty simple, just it's like Anna. Each burst does 84 damage at close range and 25.2 damage at the fall off range, which is around 40 meters, give or take, and it does, you know, the same amount for healing or damage, doesn't change, which is really nice. One of my favourite things about Juno's gun is that it can't do headshot damage, which, you know, is quite nice for a support. I think the only other support that does that is Anna. Probably wrong on that, you know, let me know. But yeah, it stops you from thinking you're a DPS and charging in. You're not there to get kills, you're there to lower the health, chip away at them a little bit, keep them at bay. Her first ability is Pulsar Torpedoes. Once you press the button to activate it, the torpedoes will start to lock onto targets. Now the important thing to learn here is her torpedoes don't actually fire until you press the primary fire button. You think they're going to fire, but they're not, and you just kind of awkwardly stare at everyone flying around in the air until, you know, you get shot. Now, much like the gun, the torpedoes can be fired at enemies and teammates, you know, doing healing or damage respectively. The torpedoes will, however, only lock onto heroes, including Bob. So that means no sim turrets, no bat lamp, and no Riptire. The torpedoes are quite good for mass healing, doing 75 healing on impact, and then additional healing over time. But on the other hand, they're also extremely good for finishing off targets. They're like one shot. While I think this is a nice ability, I'm not too keen on the fact it locks onto targets. It you know, any ability that offers free value kind of takes away from the skill aspect of the game a little bit. But this one's not too bad. Her second ability, Glide Boost, allows you to fly for 4 seconds with increased movement speed. It's, you know, basically just D.Va's boost, but you're locked at a certain height. You can go upwards if you use a double jump, or like push against the map. Sometimes it will lift you up a little bit, but you know, most of the time you're staying at one height. Now, the first time I played Juno, my first thought on this ability was, you know, this is dumb, I'm never going to use this, but I actually found it to be quite useful. I think I used it most of the time I played it, to be honest. Being lifted up on the map helps you see everyone better, you know, helps you lock on all of your little torpedoes, lets you hit almost everyone if you get it off right. And you can peek people and then quickly go back to cover because you can cancel the ability as well. It's really handy. Her third ability is called Hyper Ring. Juno shoots out a ring, letting any allies that pass through it have an increased movement speed. Now, this is huge for like getting tanks, like Sigma mainly, he's so slow. Getting tanks like him to the point quicker, huge. And even like mid-fight, letting people dodge around quicker, really handy. And now something I love about Hyper Ring is Juno doesn't actually have to pass through the ring to benefit from the effects of it. So if you're running away from like a bloodthirsty Reinhardt, you can just shoot it and run away really easily. It's really good. Something I think could make this ability way better is like making it last a little bit longer. It feels like in game, it feels really short, like 2 seconds maybe. That's what it feels like. I don't know, just making it a bit longer would probably make it feel really good. Orbital Ray is Juno's ultimate. She calls down a ray which travels forwards for 10 seconds, and any allies that step inside the ray are granted healing and a damage buff. I think this ultimate feels just right, because the healing lets you survive certain ults, like being trapped in Zarya's Graviton Surge, or like Mauga's Cage Fight. I would save it for them. But since the beam doesn't give you invulnerability, you can still die to like Diva Bombs and probably jump tires, maybe even a Bastion. Now, one thing I found when using her ultimate was that my team would rarely walk with the actual beam, because it's kind of slow. But, you know, it is annoying, but it's really just one of those things where people aren't used to it yet, and it will probably get better as, you know, she gets added properly. So, alongside the support passive, Juno also has a passive called Martian Overboots, and this allows her to double jump, but also glide if you hold space, or I guess the jump button if you're on controller. With all of the movement abilities, this makes her an incredibly mobile character, so when you play Juno, you'll never want to be standing still. So almost most of the time, you want to be like up in the air, above everyone else. Now, obviously this is just like playtest Juno, and she's probably going to change when she officially releases, but I hope she stays similar to how she is now, or how she was in the playtest. I've seen online a lot of people hating on Juno, but purely because like it seems like she's stealing abilities from other heroes in the game. But then again, when, you know, Overwatch has 41 heroes, including Juno now, some of the abilities will start to feel the same, you know. Throughout this playtest, I've actually had a lot of fun playing as Juno, which, you know, I've not had fun in Overwatch for quite some time now. So it's nice to see. I think Blizzard are going in the right direction. Obviously, they're still doing stupid stuff like the recent mythic hammer for Reinhardt being like $80. But you know, that's all I have to say really. If you made it to the end, thank you for watching. It's really hard getting started on YouTube, so I do appreciate watching to the end. And if you want to support me, like, comment, maybe even a subscribe. End of the day, it's all free, and it helps me out loads. Bye, I guess.